KURV.com, powered by South Texas Buick GMC, McAllen Mission.
We wish to say thank you to our friends and family at Lone Star National Bank, the Valley's Bank. They make today's special news broadcast. Election under COVID 2020, possible today. Edna Tesaro from Lone Star National Bank. Banking under COVID, and I was hoping maybe you could explain what it's like day to day at branch locations during the season.
Absolutely. You know, it has been challenging, obviously challenging for all of us in so many different ways, learning to live and work amongst COVID, you know, being a part of our daily lives. You know, at Lone Star National Bank, we have focused on creating a safe environment for our customers, both in our lobbies as well as our motor banks. We do provide enough signage in our banking centers to remind people about the importance of social distancing. We also have clear acrylic dividers that also protect our customers from our employees, both at the teller line, Sergio, as well as at our desk. So, you know, we're constantly looking for innovative and different ways on how we can continue to provide a safe environment for our customers to come into our lobbies, as well as coming in through our motor banks. We've also expanded the level of the services that we can provide through our motor banks. Our customers can come in through the motor bank. For those that don't feel safe coming into the lobby, they can come into the motor bank and either sign transaction documentation such as opening of accounts and whatnot. That provides a really great environment for all parties involved so that we can continue doing business and also make sure that our customers are feeling safe, secure, and sound.
I'm reminded of how much banking can be done remotely over at LSNB.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we have a very large service line in terms of our products and services from a digital perspective. You know, our internet banking allows our customers to be able to not only access their accounts, access their loans, their checking accounts, their savings accounts. You also have the possibility of making transfers. You also, if you're a business and you want the capability of submitting a wire transfer, we can set you up so that you can have treasury management services all from your fingertips.
With 33 locations from San Antonio to the Rio Grande Valley. Visit their website, LoneStarNationalBank.com.
From the R Communications Broadcast Center in McAllen, Texas, this is a News Talk 710 KURV special.
It's showtime! Woo!
This is KURV Community Special Edition.
Let's do this!
This KURV special is powered by Lone Star National Bank.
Well, look who it is.
Here's Sergio Sanchez.
Along with Davis Rankin, Joe Salinas, our producer, and the evil radio genius, Zach Cantu. He's making everything look real pretty behind the scenes online at 710 KURV Facebook Live. We appreciate Lone Star National Bank, the Valley's Bank, for making this big broadcast possible today, and very much appreciate, always one phone call away, our elections administrators for Hidalgo and Cameron County. Hidalgo County Elections Administrator, Yvonne Ramone, and our Cameron County Elections Administrator, Remi Garza. I have to say, among the best, if not the best in Texas. And I speak from personal experience as a former chairman down here working with these fine individuals. Yvonne, let's start with you, because Remi, he's doing the victory dance. Remi Garza from Cameron County saying, yeah, we had a record first day of early vote turnout. So how do we do in Hidalgo County? Did we have a record day as well, Yvonne?
Same. Hurrah. We beat 2016 day one. And so we are very, very happy continuing to see those numbers go up and up and up today. So we're against the clock, making sure that we beat out the second day as well.
Yeah. Do you have, I don't mean to put you on the spot. I should have asked you for that. Do you have the raw data there for day one of what the record was for day one?
Of course I do.
Okay.
Yes, we had over 18,800 voters on the first day, had 18,500 voters in 2016. So at about 11 o'clock, we were under 4,000 votes, and I was a little scared, but you know what? That afternoon, all the voters went out and we surpassed our numbers from 2016.
Yeah, and that's despite long wait times and people 6 feet apart and just patiently going through the motions trying to get in there. Remi, what were the numbers day one for early vote? I know you had a record number. Can you share that with us again?
Yeah, we had 10,985. which when we looked back at 2016 and 18 was approximately 5,000 votes higher than both those elections. So, we almost doubled, which would have been really exciting. But it certainly was enough of an increase to get us excited that this is going to be a very large turnout election. Today, we're already on pace of surpassing both the 2016 and 2018 second day, but there's still a couple more hours left of the polling sites to be open, so we'll see how it turns out.
Let me spur the audience in case you folks have a question for our elections administrators. The way I'm going to see those questions is on my iPhone. Sergio at KURV.com, Sergio, Sergio at KURV.com. Send me that question. I'll go back and fish on my email and see if I need to share that with our elections administrators from Hidalgo County and Cameron County. Davey, I want to throw it to you in case you got a question real quick for our friends.
Questions are any fist fights, anything to report? Did the cops get called? We didn't read about it in the news. What's the biggest holdup, if there is one?
Well, in Hidalgo County, it's not that it's a holdup, but here at the Elections Annex, which is the main early voting location, we always have issues with electioneering, especially in today's COVID-19 with social distancing. Everyone wants that front seat, where that voter walks by or where that vehicle drives by. And so we had a couple of vehicles parked where they weren't supposed to be, but you know what? Everybody is in a good mood and we were able to get that settled out. But other than that, not much. We always have a meeting with law enforcement agents before the election, and we get everybody's number and we talk about electioneering policies throughout the county. And so we're let our judges know what's happening at their poll location, trying to be proactive. So things are going well.
Okay, Remi?
Yeah, I think the same is true here in Cameron County. We have 17 jurisdictions that are holding elections at the same time. And so each community has its share of local candidates that are doing the exact same, towing the line at the 100-foot perimeter and trying to get the last word to the voters as they come in. Sometimes I think that's a good thing, and sometimes I think it can be a bad thing. If the voter feels like they're being impinged upon, they might not react as well as the candidate might hope. But all in all, everything went pretty smooth. We had an early start. A lot of people confused the Hidalgo County hours with the Cameron County hours. And so Yvonne, actually, we owe her credit for a head start that we had that first hour, because there were a lot of people who decided to wait. So during that time, it was about a 40-minute wait for our curbside voting. But by 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, it was down to no wait at all, unless you were at a very specific place. And the longest that I heard anybody waited standing in line was about 25 minutes. And they didn't mind because they could tell what was happening, of why the process was moving at the pace it was, because when we're social distancing, we just don't have as many voting booths in a polling place. And it takes people a little longer because there's no straight party voting. And so everybody is actually marking each election. And so they understood, and everybody was very patient and very, very supportive in that process.
That's Remi Garza, our Cameron County Elections Administrator, along with Yvonne Ramone, our Hidalgo County Elections Administrator. And Remi, so speaking of Cameron County, we'd like to welcome our friends and family at South Padre Island. We're also simulcasting on Classic 92.7 FM this hour, trying to get all this election information out there. Remi, you first, your busiest locations, day one, day two, where do you have the longest lines? And hopefully that will provide folks an idea as to the places they should avoid and go find the other 23, 24 locations that you have in the area.
Yeah, our most popular location by far is always the Brownsville Public Library main branch. People just are very comfortable going to vote there, and it surpasses all our other polling sites by at least 3 or 4 times the number of people who vote there. Some of our more rural areas, like in Los Indios, or even the Brownsville Independent School District Administration Building, or the Board of Brownsville's administrative offices, those are locations where people just not on the beaten path. And so people who can go search for them and have time can actually get in and out of the poll without any wait whatsoever. This first day was very, very busy at every location, but they were able to handle it pretty well in some of those smaller outlying areas in Rio Hondo and in Santa Rosa and La Feria. So, we encourage people that if they're looking for some, distance between fellow voters, look for some of the smaller communities, and you'll be able to be in and out of there without any problems.
Busiest places for Hidalgo County, Yvonne, who has the longest lines?
Definitely our elections annex, our main early voting location. Like right now, they're way over 1,000 votes compared to our rural, like Remi says, in Monte Alto, for example, has 43. So looking for those locations that don't have a local race, we've got 24 additional city, school, water districts. We've got South Texas College on that ballot. So we've got charter amendments, we've got school bond propositions. And so lots and lots to read, and lots of elections along with federal, state, and county. So we've got the McAllen Lark Community Center, high turnout as well. We've got Weslaco and Mission. UTRGV, so proud. They have been one of our top vote getters with the students and the community voting out there. I'm so proud of them. They used to be a temporary poll location and came to talk to me and wanted to be a permanent. And I said, show me the numbers. And you know what they have? Mission and FAR, of course, have elections going on. So lots and lots of voters. After that, pretty steady with the 400 or 500 mark until you get to the small rural, Granjeno, Monte Alto, even La Villa, low voter turnout. So call us and we can let you know where to go so that you don't stand in line. Other than that, you're going to have a wait time. Long ballot.
If you go on the periphery, you won't be able to enjoy the delicious tacos and barbecue, or the barbecue pit cooking at the annex and at the main office there in Brownsville as well. Because
where's the best food? Where's the best plate of food for your voters?
I've never tasted it.
No.
Describe for me the annex. Is it as festive as I'm describing it right now? We have all these tents and people setting up food stations and all that. It's like a carnival sometimes out there.
Yes, it's quite busy. In fact, we just had a meeting, and I'm going out there after this because our curbside line is snaking around and it's dangerous for the traffic control. So we had a meeting with traffic control and with the chief of police, and we're trying to find a better setup because last night at 7 o'clock, that line was still way out there on the street.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You guys look longer than a Chick-fil-A line in the evening at sometimes. It's already 20 minutes after the hour. You're listening to a special news report, 710 KURV across the entire Rio Grande Valley. And we also say hello to our family at Classic 92.7 South Padre Island. We're simulcasting this special elections program. If you have any questions, you know me personally, you can text me or you can email me, Sergio@KURV.com, Sergio@KURV.com. Send your questions and we'll try to lob those over to our elections administrators for the area, Yvonne Ramone from Hidalgo County and Remi Garza from Cameron County. This special program on Newstalk 710 KURV and Classic 92.7 made possible today by Lone Star National Bank, the Valley's Bank. Edna DeSato, Lone Star National Bank, our friend joining us right now. The LSNB mobile app, you're able to unlock your debit card in case you ever find a need to do that. So much banking you can do on the mobile app, LSNB mobile app.
Our LSNB mobile app has a very interesting feature that we call LSNB Card Manager. Through LSNB Card Manager, you're able to do exactly that. So you're able to turn on and turn off your debit card. Say, for example, you're in the middle of your day, you're running around, and right before you get to the office, you stop to pump some gas and you realize that you don't have your debit card with you. At that time, you're able to log into your LSNB Card Manager through your LSNB mobile app and turn off your debit card. That automatically discontinues the ability for your card to be used. That's a security feature that is worth, I think, a lot of money for so many of us, especially because it's so easy to leave that card behind. It also gives you an opportunity to set up alerts on your debit card. So you're able to receive alerts through LSNB Card Manager on your mobile app, and it'll tell you when certain transactions are posting on your card, which in essence is tied to your checking account. So again, this is just one of the many ways that we give the power of our customers' accounts as well as their cards so that you have access to it anywhere you go. You can have access to your checking account. You can also make transfers from P2P, meaning from person to person. You can make a transfer from one customer to another customer. The facilitation of banking in terms of digital banking services has become absolutely incredible. Everything from your phone, such as even making deposits, that you can take a photograph of a check and make a remote deposit. Also going through our smart ATMs, you're able to make a deposit at our ATMs without ever even coming through the motor bank or coming into the lobby to make a deposit or cash deposit.
A major supporter in Rio Grande Valley business lending, including the recent payroll protection program. Visit in person or online. LoneStarNationalBank.com.
710 KURV is operated by our communications group.
KURV News Time is 4:22. You're listening to this special news program, Voting with COVID-19. Very big thank you to Yvonne Ramone, Hidalgo County Elections Administrator, Remi Garza, Cameron County Elections Administrator. I'm Sergio Sanchez along with Davis Rankin. And we got the crew behind the scenes taking care of business. If you have any questions about this election season, get your questions in now. You got to email me. Sergio, Sergio at KURV.com. Sergio at KURV.com. Manning so many polling sites. We got like 31 Hidalgo County early vote sites. Election day, there's going to be over 70. In Cameron County, we've got like 23, 24 early vote sites. Lord knows how many on election day. You got to man those positions. And who qualifies to vote? Yvonne, let me go to you first. Who qualifies and does not qualify to work at polling locations? So they need to be just like regular voters, right? They can't be elected officials or precinct chairs or party people, right? It's got to be just regular people that can work those places, right?
Well, there are laws on who can be a poll worker. And number one, you have to be a registered voter in the county in which you will work. And so what does that mean? That means you're 18 years of age or older, although we all know there is a 16-year-old also student worker law that does allow 2 days of voting for our 16-year-olds, high school kids. And then you've got to, of course, if you're a registered voter, you're a U.S. citizen. And so you get to work and make some good money while you're that poll worker there. Same thing applies to ballot board. We've got different jobs that people can help us do, because we definitely need those poll workers out there helping us.
Yeah, and Remi, on your side, ballot board, when Yvonne says ballot board, we're talking about the people who have processed the mail-in vote. For both of y'all had to ramp up considerably, right? Get more people to process all the mail that's coming in. Remi, you first. How much did you have to grow that ballot board by?
Well, we normally have 6 to 8 people that work our ballot board, and each party would be nominating half of each group. This election, we're going to have 20 individuals, and we're planning on starting a couple of days earlier than usual. So, finding individuals who can work for that length of time, like all day, a Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, can be difficult because, you're working, 10 to 12 hours to help process that. But we've had a lot of good luck with the individuals that have helped us out, and they're dedicated. I mean, people need to remember that these poll workers are people from the community. They're representing both parties during the November election. And, they're doing their best to make sure that they're complying with all the, the election codes and statutes. And, they really are giving their time for our democracy. And so I hope people will understand that I hate to go off on a tangent, but, when people talk about, how these elections have people corrupting and that everything is all crooked and stuff like that, these are people from their communities, and these are people from their fellow party. So when they throw those aspersions out, they're talking about their neighbors. They're talking about the people who sit next to them in their party meetings. And it really is very disappointing. And it's a challenge to have to deal with, and a frustration I'm sure Yvonne shares, because there's a lot of dedicated people that have worked many years on for elections.
Let's go back to Yvonne Ramone. By how much have we needed to expand the ballot board in Hidalgo County, Yvonne? Because you got probably a lot of mail-in votes coming in here pretty soon.
Yes, definitely. We usually try to get a maximum of 20, having parity, 10 and 10 from each party. But this time we requested 20 from each party. We're aiming for a good 40. We have to understand that at the last minute, some people do drop out, and also not everyone can come, as Remi says, every single day. So as long as we have at least 25, 30 people on board every day, we'll get done. Everybody's asking, is there going to be a delay? Since you have an increase of mail ballots, is there going to be a delay? And I say, it's going to take longer. It's reasonable to think we have more ballots. It's going to take longer, but the law says you cannot leave the day of election without counting every single vote that came in that day, including the last run to the mail office. So we're going to stay and just be patient with this, because just like the ballot is long, election night is going to be long for us as well.
As you're on, Yvonne, and I got to ask, because I'm sure you've been peppered by this quite a bit. The ballot board, the body itself tends to be political, as you said, equal number, Republican, Democrat. Do you need to vet these people before they serve on ballot board to make sure? I see that smile. Do you think? I'm sure people have complained with former Hidalgo County Commissioner who had some legal problems in the past. Now the name is on the list, and I'll be as polite as I can in referencing that. But I'm sure people have complained to you about this person serving on ballot board. What have you told folks who call in to complain that that person's working on ballot board, despite
Right.
And I don't even know if that person can even vote right now because of the felony.
Well, as I said, there are laws in place that are required before a person can be a ballot board member. And what I am telling everyone who's called today or emailed or text me is contact your party chairs. We do not have a say-so over who is selected to be on the ballot board. It is strictly a party a job. That is their responsibility. Aside from that, it's Commissioner's Court that gets to look at the list and make a final decision. So the elections offices are not responsible for who is on the ballot board. All we can do is guide them and help them once they're there, but we don't have anything to do with their selection.
So this Davis Rankin, the Commissioner's Court in Hidalgo County approved the ballot board. Was there a dissenting vote?
Final list, yes. The lists are turned in by the parties, and then it's taken to Commissioner's Court. Just like the list of poll workers and judges, granted, it's a list that's turned in, they give their blessing on it, but specifically those who are responsible for selecting their workers are the parties themselves.
Do you know if this person is she able to vote? Is that a requirement for serving on the ballot board?
It is a requirement. So if the state approved her voter registration application, then
she's able to vote.
That's right.
Do you know if there was a
more positions at ballot board?
Go ahead.
You all still need to fill positions at ballot board, Remi and Yvonne. You still need to put more folks in there.
I think we're okay. We'll see who showed up today and who continues to show up.
Yeah,
we're
hasn't met yet.
We've successfully gotten the nominations for the slots that we have, but like Yvonne was saying, you kind of want to have a few extra people on that list so that if you need to bring them in, you can. Our election board will be considering those names next week once we finalize the list of the parties.
Davis, I'm sorry I interrupted. I saw your hand go up, but what did you want to ask?
Did the Commissioner's Court unanimously approve the ballot board?
And as Remi says,
that
the Elections Commission Board is the group that this time around for the general, right, Remi? They're the ones who approve. So we had an Elections Commission Board meeting, and that is made up of the judge, the two party chairs, and the tax assessor and county clerk. So that is the group. There's different types of elections, and it's either the county election board or the Commissioner's Court that approves. This was done for us in August, and that's why it's already been done.
Wow. All right.
We'll continue our conversation in this special elections program, News Talk 710 KURV and Classic 92.7 in Cameron County, South Padre. We're broadcasting, having this conversation with our elections administrators from Hidalgo County and Cameron County. We got lots of questions coming up, like some of the common mistakes that we see at the polls right now, the personal protection equipment at the sites, curbside, how it works, what to expect. Is it too late to request a mail-in ballot? Lots of questions to ask, and your questions as well. If you want to send them in, we'll lob those over to our elections administrators. You got to email me, though. Sergio at KURV.com, Sergio at KURV.com. A very big thank you to our supporters, Lone Star National Bank, the Valley's Bank. The time is 4:31.
Top and bottom of the hour news. This is News Talk 710 KURV.
4:32 on News Talk 710 KURV. Good afternoon. I'm Tim Sullivan. Supreme Court nominee Amy Coney Barrett is presenting herself as a judge with deeply held religious beliefs, but one who vows to keep an open mind on cases before the High Court. She is on Capitol Hill for a final round of questioning before the Senate Judiciary Committee. Republicans are championing her conservative approach. Democrats are skeptical she can separate her strong faith from certain issues like abortion. There will be no charges in the so-called unmasking probe. The Washington Post reports that decision was made after the departure of U.S. Attorney John Bash last week. He was appointed by Attorney General William Barr and tasked with investigating if the Obama administration did anything wrong in asking for some people to be unmasked. That means they wanted to know the identities of people, even though intelligence documents did not name them. There will be no presidential debate town hall, but both candidates will be doing dueling town halls tomorrow night. President Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden will take questions from the audience on different networks. The president will be on NBC, Biden on ABC at the same time, 7 p.m. our time. The Commission on Presidential Debates canceled the debate planned for Thursday when Trump objected to a virtual format after becoming infected with the coronavirus. Melania Trump is acknowledging that 14-year-old son Barron tested positive for the coronavirus, but has since tested negative. The First Lady said today that Barron had also contracted COVID-19. She said he felt few symptoms and, again, has since tested negative. Scientists say a comparison of 21 developed countries during the start of the coronavirus pandemic shows those with early lockdowns and well-prepared national health systems avoided large numbers of additional deaths. The authors noted differences in populations, ages, prevalence of pre-existing conditions, but they argue that government efforts to suppress the transmission of the virus and the ability of national health systems to cope also played a role. One of the largest poultry producers in the U.S. is paying more than $110 million to settle federal charges it conspired to fix prices. Colorado-based Pilgrim's Pride and others allegedly worked to fix prices of broiler chickens. The Department of Justice argued the prices kept rising, even at the time feed costs were falling. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin is bringing a hard dose of reality to Wall Street. The markets were up today until he said it was unlikely a stimulus deal will get done before the election. The Dow Jones promptly dropped, closing down 166 points. The Nasdaq lost 95. S&P 500 fell 23. Your 710 KURV exclusive AccuWeather forecast. Mostly clear and mild tonight. Lows in the low 70s. Partly sunny, hot, and humid tomorrow. Upper Valley highs up to 98. And right now it's 90 at 710 KURV. News at the top and bottom of the hour and when it breaks and on demand at KURV.com. I'm Tim Sullivan, 710 KURV.
Edna DeSato, Lone Star National Bank, with the way interest rates are right now, super low, and the housing market on fire, home selling all over the place. You can get pre-qualified. Lone Star National Bank, they helped us months ago and get us pre-qualified and told us what size loan we qualified for and the purchase of a new home. So check with LSNB as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Our mortgage center and our mortgage loan originators are ready to make your home buying become a reality. And you're absolutely correct. Rates are so competitive. You know, we invite you to visit any one of our banking centers to start your process and getting in touch with one of our mortgage lenders, or call our 1-800 number, 1-800-580-0322. Make an appointment with one of our mortgage lenders, our mortgage loan originators at our office in McAllen, and we will definitely set up an appointment for you. You can come in and we will walk you through the entire application process so we can get you to become a homeowner. The time to buy a home is now. There are some really great and fantastic opportunities ready for a family to move in. We are so incredibly excited at the fact that there have been so many people coming in, becoming first-time home buyers. Also, for some of you that are existing homeowners that want to refinance, this is the time to do it. So if you're already sitting into a loan, into a home with a loan that you may not be 100% happy with the rates or the actual terms of your loan, now is the time to speak to one of our mortgage loan originators. And it would be probably a really great opportunity for you to revisit your existing loan and find out if there's anything that we can do to save you money. You could save a lot of money by just refinancing an existing loan. So you're absolutely right. Now is the time to do it.
Personal and business banking and lending and mortgages with 33 locations from San Antonio to the Rio Grande Valley. A South Texas leader in business lending. Visit their website, LoneStarNationalBank.com.
You've made the right choice for news and information. News Talk 710 KURV. KURV.com.
Time is 4:38. This is News Talk 710 KURV, simulcasting on Classic 92.7 South Padre Island for all our Rio Grande Valley to consider all this information related to the election, Decision 2020, which, by the way, coming election night, November 3rd, we flip the switch at 6 p.m. after the drive home and get all the national numbers as the East Coast polls start closing. At 7 o'clock, we start doing local, state, and national numbers. Join us for the big, I normally call it dog and pony show, but that would be the big elephant and donkey show on November 3rd, 6 p.m. News Talk 710 KURV, also made possible by friends over at Lone Star National Bank, the Valley's Bank. Our guests, Remi Garza, Cameron County Elections Administrator, Yvonne Ramone, Hidalgo County Elections Administrator. Davis, I know you had a question. Go ahead, bud.
It has to do with so-called curbside voting. I don't know when y'all started this, but can you explain what it is, how much more it's being used, and how do you do it? I mean, who gets to do it?
Go ahead, Yvonne.
Okay, so curbside voting is something we've always had. It's always been available at all our polling locations during early vote and election day. We have had those polling locations that are heavy curbside, like the elections annex that I keep talking about. But now, due to COVID, more people are inquiring about it and wondering what it is. Now, the law in curbside voting is like asking for assistance. You don't question the voter that shows up and says, I need assistance. You don't question a voter who shows up in a vehicle asking to remain in the vehicle and have us assist him by bringing the ballot machine out to the vehicle. So normally when a person stays in the vehicle, it's because they find they're having a difficulty making their way into a polling location to vote by personal appearance. It can be because they're feeling ill. It can be because they're elderly, disabled. Even pregnant women, with children in the vehicle, they can go ahead and utilize the curbside voting. So what I tell my community of voters when they ask is, you, the voter, decides, are you able to make your way into the polling location, or do you have a reason why it's best for you to remain in the vehicle and have the election workers go to you?
But you don't, the election worker, and Remi, this is for you, does not challenge. The law does not allow a challenge. Everything is taken at face value.
Exactly. This is a part of the process that helps us facilitate voting. If somebody makes that decision that they'd like to curbside vote, we're there to support it and make sure it happens. They have to go through the same steps to be qualified and be registered. We get the identification, we run them through our system, and then we bring out the ballots in a secrecy sneak, because in Cameron County we're paper ballots. But it's essentially the same thing that would happen in a polling place, except that you can do it from the privacy of your car.
And curbside is available at all polling locations, right, guys? Cameron County and Hidalgo County?
Early voting and election day.
That's correct.
Right. Now, in Cameron County, you've got some super sites for curbside. You and I were talking about that yesterday, Remi. Tell me all about that.
Yeah, actually, we were able to acquire the use of our convention centers in Brownsville and in Harlingen through the USC Schwarzenegger Institute a grant. We were able to open up one in Brownsville and Harlingen and in Port Isabel. And what is facilitating it is that we have the large parking lot to control the traffic. Exactly what Yvonne was describing earlier is that, you know, our normal libraries and our normal school district administration buildings aren't designed to have a lot of cars trying to interact with it at one time. And so luckily these parking lots are available. We can stack up cars where, you know, 40 or 50 cars deep before you ever get back to the street. So it's worked out really well. We were able to put additional personnel out there. We're buying tents, and we're getting some radios for them today that are coming in to help facilitate that process so they can communicate clearly between the outside and the inside.
Can two people vote from inside a vehicle, a van or a truck, or two or more people vote from a vehicle?
If they come in with a family of four and they all agree that the other people can stay in the vehicle, we'll allow them to do that, just because, you know, we're trying to reduce interactions, and if that's how they would like to do it, it's fine, because actually we get to vote 4 people per car, which is great. But, you know, if they want to be alone, then we ask the driver or whoever to step aside so that the individual can have their privacy.
This ought to grow, don't you think? This manner of voting, and if you're able to do it because you have small children and there's no one to watch them while you go inside.
Yeah, it should.
You can just see where this is going.
Yeah, it seems like that people like this during this time specifically. You know, some people do enjoy coming into the polling places on election day, and so they're going to do that. I mean, I really think, you know, it depends what the Texas legislature does once they see how it was utilized during this time, whether they're going to facilitate it or whether they're going to try to find ways to make it harder for people to do that.
Sergio, did you see that in Harris County they're offering drive-through voting, which is now the subject of a court case?
I'm wondering if that is just a different term for the same concept, which is curbside. What do you guys think? It sounds to me like it's the same thing, or is it different up in Houston?
It's similar, but what I was reading in Harris County is that they actually line up, and you know, Harris County got tents, and so the car is able to drive in. And, you know, like Remi and I have explained, it's basically the same thing. At the annex, we actually have that because we have a portico where they drive in and it actually rings inside. At other locations, like at the libraries or the city halls and those, we have created the processes where they ring a buzzer and then they park. We call it buzz and park. And so, you know, there isn't a tent and you don't have the security of a roof over your head. And I think that's the main difference. Trying to make a distinction between the two, they are very similar. The whole point is that a worker will go to you, will verify, and then bring the machine.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, Houston made some headlines, and I think it was pretty much only Houston after we shut this one. Because in Cameron County and Hidalgo County, as you guys were telling us, the option to hand deliver a mail-in ballot, that's one location. It's Election HQ, if I'm correct, at both Cameron County and Hidalgo County. San Antonio, Bexar County has the same thing. Dallas was thinking of going the Houston route, but then the governor said, oh, no, you guys in Houston, 12 satellite locations. You guys need one location. That's it. That's the way we've done it. And, of course, this big old hoopla, big old fight. That fight that was in the news and so dominant, that was pretty much Houston-centric. That had nothing to do with us or pretty much the rest of the state, it seems.
Yeah, I think, you know, in Texas, the way elections were originally structured is that the county clerk handled the election administration, and your tax assessor collector handled your voter registration role. And they worked together during election season. But then the legislature authorized counties to create elections administrators and sort of combine those duties into this appointed office. So Harris County has their county clerk, and the county clerk, or in our cases, Yvonne and myself, are considered the early voting clerks during an election. And so the statute, or at least the rules had that you could drop it off at any office of the early voting clerk. And so Harris County interpreted that to mean that any of the county clerk's offices, their annexes, would suffice. In Cameron County, we only have one location. And so it wasn't a factor for us.
If that option exists, if you guys did the mail in, you guys got a ballot by mail, and you want to personally hand deliver it at county HQ, you can go to the elections office, correct? Hidalgo County and Cameron County, and you have a specific box or a place where folks can drop that mail-in ballot. Otherwise, stick it in the mail. That's the way it's going to work between now and election day, right?
That's correct. And we do have also curbside drop-off. We've got the back parking lot of our main office set up so that you call a number, you park, and we'll come out to the vehicle because we've got so much traffic coming in the front door with voter registration and with the actual election. So this is working out very well for us, so that we've got the front door and the back door that is busy taking care of our voters.
Yeah, I think
listening to it. Go ahead, Remi. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I think I think using that term "drop" makes it sound as though you're able just to place it somewhere, but actually you have to turn it in to one of us so that we can check your identification and get it. So don't slide it under the door after hours. Just you got to make sure you're interacting with us, and our hours, and I'm sure the same in Hidalgo, are matching the early voting hours. So you can drop it off anytime there's an early voting station at our offices.
And that's very important point, Remi, because you've got the difference between mailing your mail ballot and bringing it to the main election office is that you've got to show voter ID when you come and turn in your ballot. You've got to sign a roster. We've got to verify that it's you with a voter ID and verify that you are the only one who can turn in that ballot. You cannot send a representative. So those are the things that need to be checked. So don't be thinking you can just, as Remi said, slip it under the door or send someone with your ballot. Okay?
Either that or be done with all that and actually mail the mail-in ballot that you receive and be done with all that. You don't have to worry about waiting around, writing down at a register. You're listening to an elections news special, News Talk 710 KURV Decision 2020. Big thank you to Yvonne Ramone, Hidalgo County Elections HQ, and Remi Garza, Cameron County Elections Administrator. Any questions? Appreciate you guys posting online as well at 710 KURV Facebook Live. And speaking of the mail-in ballot, what is the deadline to request, or has that one already come and gone, to request a mail-in ballot? Yvonne?
This is a very important date because October 23rd is the last day that we can receive the application. It's not postmarked for this. Usually the postmark will buy you some time, but not when it comes to your mail ballot application. We must have it in our hands no later than 5 p.m. on October 23rd. Okay, so be ready, send it in already, make sure that you are giving yourself time for us to receive it. And that's just so that we can process your application, send you your ballot, and then you have time to send it back by the deadline.
Common mistakes so far at the polls. What have you seen? Both of y'all seen, reported, and just to give folks a heads up.
Well, just making sure that you have the proper identification. The 7 photo IDs that are issued through the DPS or the federal government are really your best tools to get through the process easily. But if you can't get one of those, you can bring an alternate form of ID once you declare your reasonable impediment. So that usually is what's slowing people down, because they'll wait to the last minute to try to find their ID either in their wallets or in their purses. And so if you can come in prepared and know where your ID is, and if you have the voter certificate with it as well, that's great, because it helps us find in case there's some problem looking somebody up. But I think that's usually it. And I think the other thing people are getting caught up on is there's no straight party voting in this one. And there's a legend at the top of the ballot where they have each of the parties identified and what the 3 little letters next to the candidates' names means. And I'm afraid people might start either, trying to use that as a way of voting. And it's not, that would be an irregularly marked ballot, and it may not be counted. They need to be really careful to make sure they bubble in in the Cameron County, the ovals next to the candidates of their choice.
And those are 2 good points. But another really good point is we sent out the orange voter certificate last year, December of 2019. So if you did not receive that orange certificate, call the offices and find out why. That's another delay. You hand in your voter ID, they're looking you up and they can't find you. And you claim, I registered, I should be there. Now there is a delay. So if you do not have that certificate, you don't have to have it in order to vote. But if you don't remember receiving it, That means it may have been returned to the office and you are under suspense. Not suspended. You're an active voter, but now guess what? You've got to fill out some forms before you're allowed to vote. That is going to delay the process. Work all that out before you head out to the polls. Make sure you are active, you're registered, you know what to do, you're informed, you looked at your sample ballot, and you're ready to go.
Yeah, we're just to add real quickly, if I can.
Go ahead, Remi. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
If you registered, you know, at the close to the deadline or on the last day and dropped it in the mailbox, give us some time to process that application. It normally takes 30 days. And so if you call us the day after and try to find your why you're not registered yet, it takes time. But as long as you got it in before the deadline, you'll be eligible to vote for this November election. So just give us a little time to get those processed.
Good point.
Let me go back to Davis real quick. Davis, what you got?
Well, this I expect is going to be more important this year than previously because there's no longer straight lever voting. Can you take a list with you of who you want to vote for in your own handwriting, or you know, one of the ballot lists that people give you?
Definitely, Davis. That's what I encourage. We've got a new voter lookup tool on our website. It's easy to get your sample ballot. Make sure that if you print it in yellow, you mark it, you study it, you mark it, take it with you to the polls, open it up privately. Just don't be showing it around and using it as a
Look who I'm voting for.
But yes, you can. Yes, you can take your list and vote efficiently and quickly. And we encourage that. It's a long ballot for some of us, so we do encourage that.
Yeah, we have an interactive ballot on our website where you can actually pull up your specific ballot and actually make the marks on the PDF and then print it out so you can carry that in with you to the polling place. But you know, if candidates do give you you know, their campaign material and has those selections on it, you can bring those in, but they do need to be discreet. You know, they have to be put in their wallets or pockets so that they're not showing everybody and inadvertently electioneering in the polling place.
Didn't that used to be for I thought it was forbidden years ago to bring a list into the polling place, into the ballot box, into the ballot, into the machine when the thing closed behind you. Of course, nobody paid attention to it. They get their list out, but was it forbidden in the past?
Not since I've been there.
All right.
It's always been unlawful to be showing it or, you know, trying to use it as electioneering propaganda. But no, for yourself, it's always been, since I've been there, it's always been allowed privately, discreetly.
Okay.
And protocol in the line and at the polls, protocol still says, please, nobody on your cell phone, right? No taking pictures in the booth, and no wearing political paraphernalia of any type. That's something folks need to remember before they get in line, and they're all excited about their candidate. Can't be wearing T-shirts, caps, or anything like that for candidates. Otherwise, you will be asked to, go change or flip the shirt or something like that, right?
So somebody comes in, forgive me, and says, "Make America Great Again," a slogan easy to put on a T-shirt. Can't do that. Got to cover it up.
Yes.
It doesn't say Trump, but
now if it's directly tied to a candidate or measure that's on the ballot, it would be prohibited. You know, you can wear something that isn't directly connected to an individual or to a measure on the ballot itself. And you know, if you wear Second Amendment's great. If you wear First Amendment's great. You know, you would be allowed to wear that. But if you did have something that could easily be recognized as a political statement about a candidate on the ballot, you're probably going to be asked to take it off or cover it up or something along those lines. And
be respectful of other people's rights and you know, make sure that you're not feeling violated or you're not feeling as if someone is into your space. So we just need to make sure that we're respectful of one another and don't wear anything that is tied to, like Remi says, not just a candidate, but also a measure, a proposition, anything like that is prohibited. Yeah, I think, I'm sorry, just one last thing. You talked about the cell phones and taking pictures and being respectful of other people. It's not about you taking a picture about yourself. It's about you taking pictures of other people. And those could be used to intimidate people or to coerce people, and actually it's against the law to release during early voting before the polls close who's voted and who hasn't voted. And so you might inadvertently be, violating a law and engaging in a felony. So it goes beyond just the individual right. It's also about protecting the sanctity of the polling place. It's like a district court in there.
and you wouldn't necessarily whip out your phone in front of a district judge while you're having a case heard. So it's really, people need to be mindful of that in the polling place as well.
I have one mechanical question. Does Texas law allow the counting of absentee votes before
David.
election day? Sorry.
I'm sorry, Davey. I'm sorry. We're out of time.
All right.
Hidalgo County, 7 a.m., 7 p.m. Cameron County, it's a moving target. It's like 9 in the morning till 8 p.m. and they're going to expand hours over the next couple of weeks. One thing to remember about both counties, all counties, well, actually both counties, Cameron and Hidalgo. You can vote in any and all polling locations. You do not have to stand in line for 3 hours, people. You can vote at any and all voting locations, Hidalgo and Cameron County. Election day, though, the only difference is Cameron County, you will need to find your specific precinct voting location. All right. So remember that. Okay. Folks, thank you so much. You guys, always a phone call away. We really appreciate your service to our community. That's Yvonne Ramone, Hidalgo County Elections Administrator, and Remi Garza, Cameron County Elections Administrator. Edna Desado, Lone Star National Bank, our friend joining us right now. The LSNB mobile app, you're able to unlock